Hi, this is Scouter Peter, and we're going to talk a little bit about ticks, about how to protect yourself from them, how to avoid them, how to put on repellents that will keep you safer from them, how to dress properly for them, and various other topics. If the weather is cool enough, you're safer dressing in long-sleeved shirts and pants. That way you can both cover your skin, protect yourself from the ticks, but also you can spray them, as I'll show you in a short time. That still leaves your hands and the back of your neck and other things to be exposed skin, and in order to do that you can use an insect repellent to keep the ticks away. You'd also want to use an insect repellent if it's a really hot day and you're forced to wear a short sleeve shirt or shorts. You would then want to cover the exposed skin with the insect repellent. DEET is often the choice that people suggest for dealing with ticks. DEET works really well for mosquitoes, but it doesn't work all that well for ticks, and there's two reasons why. The first is that it's not really formulated for ticks. It's not designed to keep ticks away, and the second reason is that DEET washes off fairly quickly. So if you're sweating or swimming or something like that, then you're likely to wash off the DEET and have it not give you the kind of protection that you're looking for. The suggested chemical for or repellent for ticks is something called icaridin, I-C-A-R-I-D-I-N. I'll put it up on the screen, and it is found in certain anti-tick repellents that go on your skin. One of them is Ben's. That's the one I commonly find in the the Canadian sporting goods store and places like that. It has a shield with a tick right on it, so you know that it's meant for ticks. And it works a lot better than DEET does. One of the advantages of it is that it's designed for ticks. The other advantage is that it lasts for 12 hours, unless you go swimming or something like that, in which case you would want to reapply it. But other than that, it's a 12-hour lasting application to the skin. Now, it's not going to be as much of a protection as permethrin, which is sprayed directly on the clothes, and we'll talk about that next. One of the insect repellents that you can make use of is something called permethrin. You can buy permethrin infused clothing at places like Mark's Work Warehouse. The clothing already has the permethrin in it, and how long it lasts, how many washes it'll take before it fades away is something I can't answer. I know that when you spray it yourself, it's good for between 3 to 6 washings, and then you can spray it again afterwards in order to renew the strength of the permethrin. In the United States, you can easily get permethrin and in a spray bottle and spray your own clothing. It's a little harder to find in Canada. It took me a while to find places that sold permethrin. It's not illegal or banned or anything like that. Harder to get a hold of. It's not readily sold. You can't find it on Amazon or anything. I did find it one place, and you can buy permethrin in a spray bottle at 0.5% concentration, which is what's recommended for spraying clothing, so that's good. This material here, you need to go to an agricultural or a farm supply store. It's used to spray horses, and it's safe enough for people. The recommendation is that you don't spray it on anything that and then use it while it's wet. You have to spray it on and then let it dry for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. I think that the irritant in it is the wet chemical, the solvent that it is suspended in. And then when that solvent evaporates, what's left behind, the permethrin, is not harmful for people. You obviously want to test it first, especially if you have people with sensitive skin. Any material that might, any kind of chemical that might be on clothing could react with sensitive skin. Probably the best thing to do is to spray it on a bandana or a cloth or something like that, and let it dry, and then tie it around a wrist or an arm, and just to see that it's not causing any problem. I use it on all of my clothing, and I haven't had any difficulty or any sensitivity to it. And lots of other people I know do the same, and they haven't reported any sensitivity to it either. It's best to spray your clothing outdoors, preferably so that you can spray it and be upwind of it. You don't want the spray to be blowing back, and so you're breathing it in. You can wear a mask if you want while you're spraying it. I also would wear gloves, just because the spray gets on your hands, and you're not supposed to spray this directly on skin. So I would wear gloves, and if you get any on any of your skin, then you just thoroughly wash your hands afterwards with soap and water. I would go outside, lay out my clothing on the back of a chair, spray one side of it thoroughly, concentrating on the neck and the bottom hem and the cuffs of the shirt, the waistline and the bottom of the pants, on any kind of pants you would use. You would spray the entire clothing, spray all of it, but concentrate on those particular places where you might encounter more ticks trying to get through the clothing and onto your skin. What I do is I have 3 or 4 pairs of pants and 3 or 4 shirts, and I've identified those as being sprayed, and those are the ones that I wear if I'm going out on a hike or into the bush. I also spray my hiking boots and my socks, that's probably one of the best places to spray, because of course the ticks are closest to the ground. This stuff works in a way that is quite remarkable. I've seen videos where you spray something with permethrin, and then if you see a tick crawl onto that sprayed part after it's dried, you see a tick crawl onto that, and it slows down slowly, and then it just dies. It really has a very quick effect on it. Not only repels them, but kills them if it's going to end up on your body or on your clothing. I would also spray my hat, the top of it. I don't spray the inside of any clothing, so not the inside of the hat or the inside of the pants or shirt, just the outside, and that's enough. And that way, when something, if you're sitting down and something crawls onto you from what you're sitting on, or you're walking and something drops on you from a tree limb, then the permethrin will take care of it pretty quickly. It's not 100%, nothing is 100%, but it probably reduces your chances of picking up ticks by 90% or more. So, this is the particular brand that I buy. I get it at the farm store up on Queensville Side Road, just east of Leslie. It is meant for horses. They spray it directly on the horses. They have a lot of thick horse hair on them, so it doesn't touch the skin and it dries. But I've researched it pretty carefully, and all of the chemicals in it are in fact safe and meant to keep ticks away. It will also keep mosquitoes and black flies and things like that, and horse flies away as well. But it is meant for horses. I once asked asked one of the farm people there whether or not it was safe for people, and their response to me was that, have you talked to people with horses? They care more about their horses than they do about their children usually, so they are certainly not going to use anything on the horse that is dangerous for them. So it's the only alternative that we have. There might be some other brand names for it, but you can see that in the contents it says 0.5% permethrin, and that is what is recommended for spraying clothing. When spraying the permethalon on, I would definitely use gloves because the liquid form of the permethalon has a chemical in it that is irritating to the skin. Once it dries, it should be okay, although I would double check for any kind of sensitive skin. The spray bottle looks kind of like this, and I would take one item of clothing that is a long sleeve shirt, another item of clothing that would be pants, and dedicate that to outdoor use for hiking in a place that you may encounter ticks. Then I would take it outside. You can use a COVID mask if you want, but you're probably safe just kind of making sure that you don't breathe it in and stay downwind of it. As I said, once it's dried, which takes about 4 hours, it's safe on skin, although I would check for skin sensitivity. Once you have, you're outside and you have the shirt or the pants slung over a chair, I would concentrate on the bottom hem and the cuffs and the collar, but I would try to cover the whole shirt. On pants, I would do the bottom cuffs thoroughly, but I would also do the waistline. You would do one side and then turn it over and do the other side. Again, concentrating on the bottom hem and the cuffs, places where the ticks could get in and get to the skin that they're looking for. Once it's sprayed, leave it for about 4 hours to dry, and then after that it can be used. The permethalon that you spray on will last for about 3 washings, after which you need to replace it, respray it. So you can give the boots a good spray. Concentrate on the outsides of them, both of them, up around the cuff as well, and do the same with the other one. That's all you need, and the ticks don't like it, so you're got a much better chance of not having them jump into your socks. One thing I might mention with boots as well is that you're better off with high socks. Those short socks, ankle socks, are not really good for hiking in because all kinds of stuff gets into your into your ankles. Anything from ticks to ants to flies and mosquitoes or whatever. So you really want socks that go up your calf a little bit. Also, you'll see that you're hiking, you want to be able to hike tuck long pants into your socks. You can't really do that with ankle socks. So you're better off with longer socks, at least long enough to tuck pants into. If you're wearing shorts, of course, it's a whole different story, but you still want longer socks because it helps to keep debris out of your shoes. So where do you find ticks in the forest? Obviously, if you stay to the trails, there are going to be very few ticks along the trail. There still may be some, but it's much likely to have ticks than otherwise. If you go into the middle of the forest, also there are fewer ticks. The place where you find most of them is right along the edge of the forest. The vegetation which grows between the thick forest and the open field or the trail part of things. Okay, so I'm going to start the hike, and I'm wearing the clothing that I sprayed with the permethylin you saw earlier. But there are some other things that you can do as well just to make sure that you're a little bit more tick-proof. So you're noticing it's a nice cool day, so I'm wearing long pants and long sleeve shirt. And if you are in a much warmer situation and you've got more heat, then you would have probably shorts and a short sleeve shirt on, so the rules change a little bit. But for right now, what you definitely want to do is you want to wear socks that go at least several centimeters above the top of your boots, not these really short socks that I've seen so many people wear. And then you want to use that to tuck the bottom of your sprayed pants into the socks themselves, and that will keep the socks will help to keep the ticks from coming up and underneath the cuffs of the pants. All right, and your shirt is tucked into your waist. That also helps, and now you're as tick-proof as you can be as you're going through, especially with the sprayed clothing. If a tick manages to get through all of that protection and you find that there's a tick on you, there are certain important things that you need to do in order to remove it properly. I'm hoping that we don't end up with anybody with ticks on them, but if we do, I will do a video of a tick removal, and I will include that at a later date. Thanks for watching, and have a safe, tick-free hike in the forest.